All right, let's get right into it. Today, we are tackling one of the biggest, most talked about shifts in the tech world: how AI is changing software engineering. You hear a lot of noise, a lot of hype, so our goal here is to cut right through it and see what's actually going on.
And this is the question on everyone's mind, isn't it? It's the one that causes a ton of anxiety, whether you're a first-year comp sci student or a veteran with 20 years in the industry. Is a machine going to take my job? It's a totally fair question, and we have to tackle it head on.
But here's the thing. When you actually step back from the scary headlines and look at the real data and, a little bit of history, it tells a completely different story. The real consensus here isn't about replacement. It's about a massive transformation of the job itself.
And you don't have to take my word for it. Just look at the hard data from the US Bureau of Labor Statistics. Even with AI getting smarter every day, the demand for software developers is set to grow way, way faster than the average for all other jobs. I mean, if AI was just straight up replacing people, you would not see a chart that looks like this. We've actually been here before. This is not our first rodeo. Think back to the 50s and 60s. People were convinced compilers would make programmers obsolete. Then in the 90s, languages like Java were going to make coding so simple that anyone could do it. And just a few years ago, it was the no-code movement. Every single time, what actually happened? These job-killing tools made developers more productive, which created even more demand for software, and you guessed it, more jobs.
And this table right here really breaks down why that happens. Look, AI is an amazing tool. It's fantastic at turning out boilerplate code, writing basic unit tests, all that repetitive stuff. But when you get to the really hard problems, the complex debugging, designing a high-level system architecture, or, actually understanding what a user needs and what the business strategy is, well, that's where a human is still absolutely essential. AI can follow an order, but it can't come up with a market strategy from scratch. It doesn't have empathy.
Okay, so if the big threat isn't that everyone's going to be replaced, what is it? Well, the real challenge is a bit more subtle, but it's just as important. We're talking about a fundamental shift in the skills you need, and a much, much higher bar to get into the industry in the first place.
And that leads us to this really important concept called the junior bottleneck. Think about it. All those simple, straightforward coding tasks that AI now does in seconds, that used to be the training ground for junior developers. That's how they learned the ropes. With those tasks being automated away, companies just don't need as many entry-level people.
And this isn't just a theory. The numbers are already showing it. We've seen roughly a 35% drop in entry-level software jobs posted since just 2023. This isn't the market crashing, it's the market changing. The very definition of a junior role is being rewritten.
And this new world brings new dangers. AI slop is a huge one. That's code that technically works, but it's super inefficient or has major security holes, and it's generated by someone who just copy-pasted without understanding it. Then there's the risk that our own fundamental skills get weaker because we're relying too much on the tools. And on top of all that, the competition is just tougher because one small team with great AI tools can now do the work that used to take a much bigger team. Look, I know this can all sound pretty intimidating, especially if you're just starting your career or you're still in school. Everyone's situation is a little different. So if you've got specific questions about your path or your specialty, seriously, drop them in the comments below. We'll try our best to point you in the right direction. Okay, so we've laid out the problem, we see the challenges, let's pivot and talk about the solution. This is your game plan. This is the roadmap for how you can not just survive, but actually come out on top in this new age of AI. Now, if you're a student, here's a 3-phase plan. First, in your early years, focus on building an anti-AI foundation. That means mastering the really hard stuff that AI is bad at: data structures, algorithms, operating systems. Then you need proof of work. Get beyond tutorials and build real projects that real people use. Contribute to open source. Prove you can do it. And finally, you have to specialize. The generalist roles are the ones most at risk. Pick a niche that's hard to automate and become an expert. So what do those niches look like? Well, here are some of the safest, highest growth zones right now. Things like AI and ML engineering itself, cybersecurity, cloud architecture, and embedded systems. What's the common thread here? All of them require deep systems-level thinking, critical human judgment, and they often deal with the real physical world in ways that a code generator just can't handle. But here's the kicker. Even if you specialize, how do you land one of these jobs? You have to understand this one critical number: 70%.
That's roughly how many jobs get filled through referrals before a public job posting ever goes up. The strategy of just spamming your resume online, it's a losing game now.
This means you have to get smart about networking. We're talking about stealth approaches. Don't just go on LinkedIn and ask for a job. Ask for advice. Find an open source project a senior engineer you admire works on and fix a bug. Show up to virtual meetups and ask really smart questions. These are the things that build real relationships and prove your value, getting you past that HR firewall.
So, after all of that, if we had to boil it all down to just one single guiding principle for this new era, what would it be?
This is the new golden rule. You should 100% be using AI assistants every single day. They make you faster and better. But, and this is the important part, you should never, ever just copy and paste code that you don't fully understand. You have to use the AI as a tool to learn faster, not as a crutch to avoid learning altogether.
Ultimately, what this all comes down to is a shift in your identity. The goal isn't just to be a coder anymore, someone who just writes syntax. The goal is to become an AI orchestrator, an engineer who designs complex systems and uses AI as a powerful tool to bring those designs to life. That's the future.
So yeah, the game has definitely changed. But for people who are willing to adapt, the opportunity is absolutely massive. The real question is, are you ready to become an AI orchestrator? If this explainer helped clear things up, do us a favor and hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives just like this one. Thanks for watching.